Welcome to another episode of Whose Review Matters Anyway, the podcast where the show notes are made up, don't matter, just like Ham's consideration for people's ability to read minds. Doesn't matter because he just wants to assume that everyone knows what he's doing when we don't have a fucking clue what he's talking about. Or
Nothing.
I had to do shit. I couldn't have.
I've been trying to get him to play Ninja Turtles with me for the longest ass time. And then, I texted him a couple things this morning about a couple podcasts that are coming up. And he's like, we could have been playing Turtles. I'm like, you didn't say shit. You didn't say one single thing that you're like, oh, I'm down to play Turtles right now. Like, hey, you down to play Turtles? Not a single thing. And
it's because I was playing Grounded.
I've been playing Grounded. I'm like, that still doesn't mean that you're ready to play Turtles. And that doesn't mean that I knew this was coming.
I might play some Turtles because I feel like I've gotten a little stuck from Grounded, but we'll see.
Makes sense.
Can't read minds.
It makes sense, though. It makes sense. I mean, this Turtle game, I know you mentioned a while back, Sal, that you're going to give it like Game of the Year.
Oh, it is Game of the Year. There's no question about that.
And everything. But, Ham, you have not played that game at all?
I played the sort of instructions how to play. Well, that's not even true because you just watched that. So.
Oh, so you just got to do the tutorial.
Not even.
Yeah, exactly.
Tutorial. It's just it's like little gifts of here's what you guys can do in the game, and that's it.
Yeah, you actually don't do anything. It's just like not even a GIF, not even a video. It's just when you're at an arcade and you don't put the quarters in, you see the animation just do its thing. Yeah.
So whenever I decide to get an Xbox, and whenever that day comes,
I don't understand why you don't get an Xbox right now. It was on sale for $280 the other day.
Oh no! I want to get the 1 terabyte. Believe it or not, me and my wife, we actually discussed about that because we were like, man, we need some new entertainment stuff for the house. And of course, the first thing is the Switch. That's what we're working on towards right now. We're saving money. But hey, man, life is expensive. That fucking gas. You know what I'm saying?
How long has it been? Has it been over a year? He's been trying to get a Switch.
It's been over a year. But the thing is, I haven't really tried. I have mentioned that I want one, but I haven't really tried one. This time, I'm trying to save up and and stuff like that. But we discussed about getting a Switch first, of course. And then we also discussed hey, she brought it up. Hey, should we get a Xbox or a PS5? What's easier? I said, well, right now, PS5s are a fucking rare thing, like a Destiny rare. No,
I sent you it the other day.
Yeah, you sent me stuff like that. They're gonna have bundles like that. That is kind of fucking expensive, $700. Don't get me wrong, the value is. It's a good deal. It is a good deal. But at the same time,
I don't need that all extra shit.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, what's easier to find right now? And I believe it's an Xbox.
Definitely.
And right now, Games Pass has great games as well. And right now, Xbox has a better value than PlayStation 5, in my opinion.
Whoa! You heard them all. You heard it here, folks. This guy thinks Xbox is better than PlayStation.
I mean, I've praised Xbox of how well they have conducted their business with this console at least.
Okay, this guy I'm here. Oh, this is a different person.
Let's just divert from this console war conversation because Am's going to try to spin this into an argument, I'm sure, and move on with life. We only got one thing to talk about, one thing to review, which is going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. All 6 episodes are finally out. Surprisingly enough, Ham, you never brought up because I was thinking you were going to say something about this. I didn't realize the overlap. They overlap Star Wars and Marvel.
I did. I told you. You were like, well, what's the big deal? I'm like, they've never done it before. I've mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah, that is true.
I feel like there was something else that was, I don't know. I didn't think it was going to be to this extent because now we only.
Well, no, that's what I told you. You're like, oh, I'm like, they've never done it before. I wonder why. And you're like, okay, so you're the one, playing it down. So I don't know, man. Told you twice.
Have one less thing to look forward to now each week. It's almost a little sad, but I don't know. I guess they should have kept Obi-Wan to Fridays. I don't know why their thing was Wednesdays. Because wasn't
I
I
Boba
think
Fett on Fridays or
Boba.
Thursdays?
everything's was on Wednesdays. I think after that switch.
I think Mandalorian was on a Wednesday, or was it on? No, actually, no. Was Mandalorian on a Friday?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They started off with Fridays and then they switched to Wednesdays. I forget which series that was.
Loki was the first one.
Okay, that's what it was. And then I
Mm.
think they just kept it on Wednesdays.
I think they
Well,
went. I think they went based off the views of how many people watch the shows on a Wednesday versus on a Friday, and I think they get the most views on a Wednesday.
Well,
well, I
probably.
assume if they kept the format like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we got only what we want to talk about, which means that this actually gives us a little bit of time to catch up on our lives, to be like, hey,
my god!
this is what we've been up to.
Oh my god.
Mike, what you been up to?
Oh my god. This is such a long time. What's going
Next,
on?
right, Ham, what
Oh.
you been up to?
Okay.
I'll next myself. Next.
Oh man.
Mike.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Enough with the jokes. All right. All right. All right. Dickhead. Um. Pretty much. I've been on a Mission Impossible marathon.
Mm.
I'm on the last movie. Fallout.
Oh my god! Why did I think the other one?
Which one? Road Nation?
No, running.
Oh, running. Yeah. I don't get it, but I.
You never will.
but but it's been really fun. I love Mission Impossible. I think it's one of those great films where you can really really enjoy great action. Um, I want to say great story, but still it's very intense for each movie of how Tom Cruise carries his character Ethan in the movies, and so far, like, I mean, I have done this marathon so many times, and I don't know, I love Mission Impossible. I think the way that I feel about Mission Impossible is the same way how Ham feels about James Bond. It's just
Okay.
I never really got into James Bond as much as I wanted it to, but I got into Mission Impossible a lot more, and I don't know, it just takes me back to my childhood for sure. But I do have a Rapider review that these guys did not see a movie that came out recently. They were not interested in it, but I'm gonna talk a little bit about Elvis. I recently just saw it. So it's gonna be like what you guys said, only 2 minutes.
You got 2 minutes. Hurry up.
2 minutes. All right. Countdown starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So on the get go, I just gotta say, Aston Butler and Tom Hanks are definitely going to win an award for this movie of how well they acted in this movie. For sure, I think the supporting characters in this movie are fantastic, are great, and the movie is very shiny, is very bright. It does like a little comic book feel in some parts of the movie, and it's just the movie just reflects on Elvis's life, and it's a storytelling of how Elvis became a singer and how he was corrupted by his manager, technically by the colonel and everything. I guess without any like spoiling anything, the movie is just fantastic. It's a great time. If you really do like movies like these, like Bohemian Rhapsody, or like what Ray Charles movies like that, you're gonna have a great time watching this movie. This movie is very long though, but I had a good time from start to finish. I loved it. I think it's a great movie. I think everybody should go out there, watch it, support it. The soundtrack for this film is really great. It's gonna be a green card for me.
What's the
Boom.
on it?
2 hours and 36 minutes.
Jesus Christ. I would just watch Lilo and Stitch. There's some Elvis songs in that movie.
But I don't know, the movie is really good. To be honest with you, man, like Austin Butler killed this role. Like it's so I don't know, it's just so weird to see him in the movie, and it's just like holy shit, you look exactly like Elvis. Like it's so scary of how
I
like similar they look.
mean, yeah, these things do well because you brought up the, or is it, oh my gosh, I forgot to pronounce his name. Rami Malek, right? Did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
And then you had Oh my
Yeah,
god,
like Jamie Foxx as Ray Charles.
Fox's Ray was the movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Ray.
I don't know. I feel like you can only recommend those movies to like people that actually want to be interested in their story, like want to know their backstory. And even then, it's also a movie, so you also have to like give it somewhat of a little bit of a doubt and be like, well, is that really how it played out? Because there's always like these types
Right.
of like what I don't know what kind of genre they're called, but people always come on and be like, well, that's not how it really happened. Like Pursuit of Happiness. People thought, that's how it went, but then some, people started realizing, or someone called them out and said, well, the guy was more of an asshole than what was actually portrayed in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the thing that I feel a lot of the thing that I feel confident in about this movie is that Elvis's ex-wife helped with the movie. She's the one that pretty much gave him the backstory of Elvis, of what he was struggling with, and the way that he saw the world, and everything. So there's might be some things like
No, but I actually heard that the whatever, the guy who found him or whatever you want to call him was a shitty person that used Elvis.
yeah, that he pretty much abused Elvis in controlling him and
Yeah,
overperforming him, and it probably might have drove him of his death.
yeah,
hmm,
you could say that.
You know, and the movie touched base on that too. And the thing also too that I like of how some of the shows that you can pull up on TV on YouTube of Elvis, of him performing, him dancing, it's almost the same replica of how they did in the movie, and it's so freaking good. I don't know if Austin Butler is really singing, but it seems like he was really singing and putting his heart out for this
Hmm.
film, and I really did like it a lot. I think Tom Hanks did a fantastic job, like he always does, usually on his movies. Um,
Wait, who are
and
you
I
asking who was singing?
Austin Butler, like the actor who was playing Elvis. I don't think he
The
was
main guy?
singing. The main guy,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he probably was singing because I know he was on Glee before, so he was one of the main
Oh,
characters in Glee.
oh, okay. And then if that was him singing, holy shit, he got the voice down completely.
Yeah.
Then, like of just singing perfect.
Yeah, and
Um.
if you're interested in that Elvis thing, I think ABC did something last week. I think you can find it on Hulu.
Oh yeah, that they did. NBC. Yeah, they did the anniversary of Elvis when he was doing his comeback tour after he came from the military, and him doing shitty movies.
Oh
Um.
yeah.
Yeah, they touched base on that too in the movie. They do a lot of things in the movie that I think not a lot of people know about Elvis. I've always liked Elvis. I mean, I'm not a huge diehard fan. I've heard, of course, a couple of his hits and everything, and um, but I think anybody who's a really diehard fan are going to really love this movie. And I think if anybody who's not doesn't really care about Elvis, I still find some good value in this movie that you might enjoy somewhat. So it's definitely a green card. It's up there for for maybe top movies of 2022. But I think you guys should give it a try. I recommend it. Green card all the way.
what I do enjoy is when you lose a deal or bet, because we've been talking about this for more than 2 minutes. So you fucked up.
Hey, you guys were answering me questions. No, 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 no,
You
no. You
didn't have
guys.
to answer. You did not have to answer.
But hey, that's rude of me.
What's
That's the
rude is that
gentleman code.
much time from him. Ham, how you been?
Same old, same old.
Same.
I've been playing Grounded. Been rewatching How I Met Your Mother.
Well, for the 10th time.
No, this be maybe third or fourth.
Well, same thing as me.
But just
I
to be
usually
clear,
don't rewatch stuff.
you haven't
It's probably the
watched,
most rewatched thing I've watched.
but you haven't
Oh,
like continued to watch How I Met Your Mother. Is that the other one?
How I Met Your
How I Met
Father.
Your Father.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Why not?
Yeah, but no, I'm rewatching it with Erin because she's never seen it.
Okay, but you're not watching the other one.
I did watch the first episode, and
Right
that's it.
where you stop. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right.
Yeah,
Just making sure
yeah.
you're on.
Other than that, not much, not much.
Is Grounded a
Just
good
keeping
game?
it cash.
You give it your green card or yellow card?
Which one?
Grounded.
Grounded.
I'll give it a green. My only problem with grounded is that I'm now into the game where I have to upgrade my weapons, and the only way to do that is kill creatures that are higher level that I have to upgrade
Is
my.
grounded those little kids of like kids theme?
It's basically like a survival game. You have to build stuff, and once you get to more levels, you build certain bigger and stronger stuff. You can build a camp. You have some certain powers. I just don't know how to. I'm gonna have to look it up how to get more cool powers.
But what's the
Got you.
end goal? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you just like stuck in the backyard forever? Or are you actually trying to make it back home?
Yeah, you're trying to just get on Shrunk. There's a robot guy that's supposed to help you out. You're supposed to gain computer chips to put on his brain because he somehow his files got erased. So you're looking throughout all different parts of the backyard to find all the chips and be bigger again.
Riveting.
Yes, but the thing is, there's a bunch of different like sections. There's like a pond section. It's like an underwater thing. There's like a in the trees and a sandbox. It's all like different variations. There's a chemical thing that you have to build a gas mask out of a stink bug parts and all that. So it gets very intricate once you get more into the game, and it gets a little harder to find the pieces and stuff, the craft shit. But I'm liking it. I'm just stuck in this part, and I just gotta kill time to grind materials right now. So yay!
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. As I was telling these gentlemen off air last time, I am officially now a doctor, not of medicine, just I have a doctorate title now that has been bestowed upon me by the university. So I am pretty much done with that program. I just have like a
Oh,
few.
nice, man! Congratulations.
I have like a few minor edits to make, and then that's it. Send it off, and then I'm officially done. I don't have to worry about that crap anymore, and no more school for me. Yay! Uh, Other than that, we have officially become a Nintendo family in the household. With the kids having their Switches and getting into games, we got an extra controller for my Switch, for the primary Switch that we play on the big TV, and so we've been playing Mario Kart. We've been playing Super Mario Deluxe. I got the Super Mario Strikers game. What else have we been playing? Pokemon Unite. We
Mario
basically
Party.
we haven't got Mario Party yet. No, not that one.
Oh,
What?
But basically, we've just been playing together as a family now because the kids are getting really into it. So that's been really exciting. What else has been going on? Oh, I did play a new game besides Game of the Year Ninja Turtles. I did play a new game on Games Pass. It's a really short game. It's called The Pedestrian. I had brought this up a long
oh
time ago.
yeah.
All like images of it, like at a presentation. I think it was last year's E3. But The Pedestrian is basically it's a platform puzzler. So you play like this 2D character and you have to solve these puzzles to advance to the next stage. And then sometimes there's like multiple things that you have to gather from different areas and then come back to like the main setting and then unlock to the next stage. And it's not difficult. Like there are moments that you're gonna have to like just put the controller down and just look at the puzzle and see how you can make these connections. Um, the story is a bit trippy. It's like really weird because you're playing like this 2D chalk character, almost like a chalk drawing of a stick figure, basically. But then it gets to the end, and you basically become like a real person. Like you play an actual human person, and what you do in these puzzles kind of affects the real world, and it's so weird. I don't know how else to explain it, but
What the fuck?
there's like some sort of deep hidden message behind the whole thing because when you get to like the final level, um it's almost like revealed that you basically have been playing the making of the game, which is
Hmm.
so interesting. And I don't know, it's I liked it, I think, more than I thought I would. If I had to give it a card, I'd say probably a green card, and you can knock it out in just a few hours if you just like sit there and go through it the whole thing. But it was fun. I enjoyed it, and it was on Games Pass, which is why I was able to download it and just play it really quick. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I'm in the middle of like 15,000 different games, so hopefully I'll knock out something else by the time we record next year.
And yet, I still have not
Bought in a single game.
bought a single game, beaten a single game. I still haven't beaten Horizon. And yeah, life is great.
Way to go, man. Way to make great strides.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our main topic of discussion, which is, of course, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Cam, cue the music. I'd be very interested if we get copyrighted for that. I don't know.
I'm sure it's so bad, no one's even going to touch it.
I think even Lucasfilm was really like, what the fuck?
All right. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I guess I'll read the plot, but I think you can kind of figure out what it's about. Jedi Master contends with the consequence of his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his one-time friend and apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, who turned to the dark side as evil Sith Lord Darth Vader. Well, that's spoilers all in one right there.
Damn.
Who is most looking forward to this? Because I tempered my expectations because I was burnt out by Boba Fett. I want to say Mike was heavily excited for this.
Yeah, I was heavily excited for this show.
Ham?
Yeah, I wanted to see it. I wasn't gonna miss it. When they first announced it, like, yeah, I wonder what they're gonna do. So
my excitement, my anticipation for the show were pretty much almost like Mandalorian season 2. I was like, fuck yeah, we're gonna probably get a good story.
Okay.
Yeah,
and,
I think I'm there with you.
Yeah, and
I just want to make it clear that I held back a lot of my excitement because of fucking Boba Fett. Just want to throw that out.
I think my excitement.
Back Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
Ewan McGregor as Jar Jar Binks, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You can't figure out who Ewan McGregor is, and I don't know why you're even listening to this review to begin with. Mo Ingram as Reva? Is it Reva or Reva?
Reva.
It's Reva.
I think it's Reva.
Then you have Han as Fifth Brother, reprising. This is what happens between Fast and the Furious 2 and Tokyo Drift. For anyone that was curious on the franchise and wanted to catch up with stuff.
Wait, that was Han as Fifth Brother?
You didn't notice that?
No.
That's him. That's him as the fifth brother. The guy that kept arguing with Reva about like, oh, I want this position, I want this seat or whatever.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe you didn't see the makeup.
I get.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. IMDb gives Obi-Wan Kenobi a 7.2 out of 10.
I didn't hear that first part.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 83%.
83%. Okay.
Now, Ham wanted to make sure that we had this big, grand space opera setting for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so when he sent out the virtual invitations, he made sure to record himself saying hello there. People to want to come to this, but I guess people lost their invitation somehow because only 83% of these people.
Well, Ham had the high ground.
Yeah. No. I technically do right now. So.
Okay. We'll start, of course, with our traditional cards all around, and then depending on those cards, I don't know how we want to backtrack for pros and cons, because usually it'll be me, but it depends on what Mike has to say, and Ham maybe, about this series. I may just want them to go first. So, yeah. Mike, what card are you going to give Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I'm just going to give it a yellow card just for effort.
Good job, kid. You did your best.
You did your best. You know what? You deserve a yellow card. It might be convinced down to a red, but I'm pretty confident with my yellow for this show.
Ham.
I'll give it a green.
I'm waiting for him to like say something else that will revert back that card to something
He's
reasonable.
he's. What did you give the last movie? What was your other movie?
Let me think. Okay, he did that.
Did you finish watching the series?
It's a Disney Plus show. It's not a big movie. I'll give it a green. I don't see why it
can't set like it's what you naturally feel about it, not what this is what I should just expect out of it. Like it is what you think about it.
Did it meet your expectations? Did you think that it concluded the story for
Well, no,
you?
that's it. I mean, expectations. They could have gone anywhere with this. Where they went, they have Leia, and
no. They could not have. That's the biggest problem behind these series that they do, is that there's stuff already been established or set up, and they can't just go anywhere with these series.
Well, I mean, anywhere. Well, especially if you. Well, either way, I'm still giving it a green. Their problem is they have to deal with the Clone Wars, which I haven't seen, but I'm sure that tricky in the I guess series of everything.
I think we have to decrypt Ham's cards into like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, if it's a green, I'm pretty sure it's gonna go down to it's a yellow for sure. And if it's a yellow,
it's a secret message.
It's a secret message. So I'm going to say it's a yellow for him. Even though he says a green, but for his expectations, it was a yellow.
Wait, since last week now you guys tell me what card I'm giving it?
Listen,
really, since you fucked up on Jerry.
Yeah, Cherry, and then like other movies, and then Lightyear, where you give it a yellow, but then you were doing nothing but trashing the movie, and didn't even say not even one positive thing about Lightyear.
That's true.
So I'm gonna stick with a yellow for you. With me, that's just my opinion.
It's Ham's card, and then Mike's interpretation of Ham's card.
I speak Ham.
That's a whole column on the sheet there.
I speak Ham a little bit.
God.
All right, so what is your card? Don't be shy.
Because of Ham now, I'm solidifying on a red. I'm solidifying on a red card.
And to decrypt Sal's card, when he say he's going to give it a red, that means it's going to be close to a Becky. Just saying.
No, I will say this. I will stand firm on this. This is not worse than Boba Fett.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that.
To somebody, it would be Boba Fett. So far, has been in the runnings to be number one Becky card.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, this is not worse than Boba Fett. But do you want to go first of what you liked, or how do you want to play this?
I guess I'll say a few things, and I because I remember after watching the last episode, there was a bunch of things I wanted to bring up. But I guess I'll start with that. The first thing I will say is that it gets very difficult to make a series about a character who we already know what happens to them at the end of their lives, right? At the end of their journey. Because Obi-Wan Kenobi, we know that he gets struck down by Vader. We know little bits and pieces of his life, so to speak, in A New Hope, as to like, you know, who he meets or who he has interactions with or whatever, and then that's it. So for a series to put, I guess, a character like that in danger is almost meaningless, because like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna kill him? You can't, because we know he ends up being there. Like, the problem with this series is that there's already so much established canon that you have to be extremely careful what you do. Otherwise, you're just gonna ruin a lot of like, it's not fair to call them expectations, because I feel like there's a difference between setting expectations for something that you want to see versus this is what's already been given to us so you can't tamper with that. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a line between those two, and like with this,
So the Han Solo effect
maybe like
Maybe
with
I still
in
haven't
the
seen that movie.
yeah, I guess don't if you like Star Wars. I don't know.
well, it's just that it's this. Okay, so for the one thing I'll bring up, spoilers, people, everybody, spoilers, 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 spoilers.
Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers.
The whole Luke Skywalker bit, completely meaningless in the entire scheme of Star Wars. Like, why did you send a character to threaten and what trick us into thinking that you're gonna harm this kid? You can't, because he has a whole trilogy of like, why? Like, if it was to establish us liking this new character, Areva, I feel like this
Mhm.
was the worst way to go about it. Because
Yeah.
against the actress, I think I would have liked this character more if she had no particular ties to any other Star Wars character, because I know this new character. So putting her with someone like Luke Skywalker is, well, you can't fuck with this kid. So why do I care about whatever happens to you? Because I'm obviously going to be like, you can't touch this kid. I'm on this kid's side. If it was any other kid, anyone else, then I feel like her character would have worked a little bit better. But I don't understand why Luke is a great addition to the series. We got to show Luke what he's been like, why he's such an important part of it. No, you could have left the first like episode that you did, that you showed him, where Obi-Wan's watching over him, and that's it. Just leave it at that. Um, the whole Leia bit, at the first couple times I was okay with, but she got kind of annoying. Again, nothing
Whoa!
herself, but it's like, I get it, right? You're Princess Leia. We love you, Princess Leia. We love how fearless and brave and strong that she is when she's older. So you're trying to portray her the same way as like a little girl, because what, she's not allowed to have fear. She's not allowed to be scared of like these Sith Inquisitors going after her, or like kidnapping her, isolating her from everybody. Like, that just seems very odd. Doesn't normally react to being like frightened as shit. Like, makes sense to me. I was initially, after watching the very, very last episode, I had initially was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a yellow, because the last episode, I think overall was, well, no, actually, for the most part, was fine. The Reva thing was really bad, but the show
Agree.
that between Vader and Kenobi was very cool. I liked the theme and the way that they showed off like the lights. I don't know if you noticed between like the blue light and the red light on Vader, showing like this between like good and bad side. I thought was so cool. And
Yeah.
my favorite part, when his helmet gets slashed off, and then he says that he killed Anakin. Like, that whole line there was so good. But then they also fuck up a couple of times. My one biggest pet peeve about that entire fight scene was the time when Obi-Wan was in the fucking pit and Vader looming over him, looking down below, and not once did he think, oh, maybe this is a good time for nostalgia and say, I have the high ground. Nope, the writers were like, fuck it, be there to watch episode 3.
Yep.
They shit. So he starts walking off. I'm like, bitch, don't come back over here. We got more to say, because this is your moment to finally get one over on Obi-Wan. But no, they didn't capitalize on that. And so I don't know. I think it hits more than it actually misses, because again, the fight scene, fairly cool. But I like, that doesn't save the entire series for me. Like, there's just, the first 2 episodes could have been condensed into one. I think it was dragged out a little bit too much. Um, and just, I don't know, the in between stuff just didn't work. Like, oh, and I don't know, what the fuck was up with that ship going left and right? Like, it just looked so weird.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and it didn't make sense, because it looked like it was going to, and then you got this Star Destroyer here that's like crawling at a snail's pace, and I'm like, they should have been gone a long time ago. Like, I don't understand why this is still a chase. Like, it doesn't.
And they were missing so fucking much and giving it full power.
It just, this show had so much potential to be something extremely cool, but they wanted to try to make sure they addressed everything, and I felt like they rushed everything and just threw some stuff in to make sure that they addressed it. and it just didn't work. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't solid. It was too shaky. It was too it too many people, I feel like, had so many ideas for the show, and they were like, oh, let's just throw it all in here and hopefully it works. And it just, I don't know, for me it didn't. And I couldn't enjoy the series the way that I wanted to. I was fine with the first episode. I didn't think it was like the greatest thing, but I thought it was good. And then I was fine for the most part in the last episode, but just the entire journey all the way through. I mean, I'm gonna pass it off because I can go on about that fucking. But I'm not gonna do it right now. God, talk about it because God, fucking, I wanted to punch someone for that. But all right.
Whoa!
I don't care.
Do you want it?
Yeah, I'll go real quick.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best movie ever. Better than Mustafa's fight. Better than Mustafar. That's what it is. Maybe you know what it is. I probably wasn't really paying that much attention to the series. I was like, oh, there's that. Oh, there's that. Oh, watch out for that planet. We'll see it in the next episode, maybe. I wasn't really paying attention too much to it. I do agree that maybe some of the episodes should have been just like one or cut out or whatever. I think maybe I might be biased. Neon on Johnny showed up, so maybe I got a little distracted. Yeah.
So you're saying your review is extremely unreliable at this moment?
Right now, it might be just because I might have been drinking, might have been not. Problem is, don't remember.
And why would you give this green card then? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
All right, then, Mike, you might be right. I'll give it a yellow, just because I wasn't really caring with the characters or what's going to happen next. I just wanted to see some cool shit. I saw some cool shit at the end. Everything at the beginning.
I honestly believe probably like him paying attention, and then the moment that he started paying attention, maybe cool shit was happening. He was like, "This is not bad."
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Every time I turn away, it's like all the boring stuff. Then I would turn and like, oh, that's okay. I got the like recap version of all the good stuff. I think.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
go for it.
So the things that I do like about the show is watching Ian McGregor come back, Darth Vader, and some of the fights that were happening. I really did like episode 3, how Darth Vader like was just like torturing him, and like the whole fire thing, and shows of how strong Darth Vader was in episode 5, him bringing down the ship, but he lost energy to bring down the second ship for some reason. But hey, we don't get a little force bar. Didn't understand that much, and the fight between him and Reva was pretty cool. Of how he just didn't really try; he just whooped that ass. And then, of course, the last fight on the last episode was actually really awesome. I really did like that part too, as well. With his helmet slashed off, and him saying that he's the one that killed Anakin, and it goes very well. Going back to episode 4, when Obi-Wan said that Vader killed Anakin. And everything. I told you I was very convinced to bring him down to a red card, I believe so, because the thing is that this show doesn't have really good value overall.
I think the trench coat scene alone.
The trench coat. Honestly, that episode was so fucking stupid. Like, you anybody remember the slap that she did with that lady, that girl? The slap that she gave to the stormtrooper, like she just like bitch slapped them, and then like killing these people behind other people in the control room, and like she's being like talking really loud in the walkie-talkie, and it's just, episode 4 is such a shit show. It's a fucking terrible episode, and especially with a trench coat. I think overall this show it's a mess. The whole thing with the Inquisitors, honestly, it's a big miss. We don't see anything on the third brother or the other sister. We don't get anything but just the fact that nobody dies in Star Wars in this show. Everybody gets stabbed in the stomach, but then and then again, Qui-Gon got killed by Darth Maul in the stomach. You know, everybody else they just get stabbed and they get to relive to tell of how they got stabbed, and that's how unfortunately that's how this show is. Reva, in my opinion, nothing against the actress or anything, but she is very poorly written. Every time when she was showing up in the last episode, I was fucking screaming at the TV, just like, can you not? Can you fucking not at this moment? This is not about her. This is about Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And also, too, why bring her into the whole thing with Luke? Like, does she knows that Luke is Darth Vader's son? Like, there's no
Yeah, I think
clear.
she found out with the communication.
She
Yeah,
found
but
on the.
in the message there was nothing to indicate that
No,
Luke.
not at all. I thought maybe I missed it.
There's really no. Yeah, there was nothing. No indication of just like, hey, there's a boy in Tatooine, and then she's like, oh, time for payback. Do you know why? Do you understand of who that is, or you're just going off based off of whatever this thing is owned by, and it's just like, oh, there's a boy, I'm gonna kill a boy. Like, it's just so fucking stupid. And then you have these two, you have Luke's step parents, Owen and the stepmom, fight against an inquisitor that, of course, she's injured and shit like that, but like, it's so stupid because Luke never brought up of like, oh yeah, I almost got killed by some random.
I'm saying maybe he just thought. I think Uncle Owen said that it was whatchamacallit, not Jawas, the other ones.
Yeah, Tusken Raiders, sure, but you remember in when he was running in the desert, he got a good glimpse of who she was. Like, sure, maybe I guess he never saw the lightsaber, but he saw that it was an actual person. Unless, of course, he was never explained that Tusken Raiders are people or not people. I mean, but
Well, they definitely weren't
it
treated like people in the original series.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And then going back into the story of this show, Obi-Wan, in my opinion, is so poorly written in this show with very incompetent people of just getting money grab. Just like, hey, let's just make a Obi-Wan show because everybody's gonna watch it. Let's bring Ian McGregor back. Let's bring the other guy back. What's this guy's name from Anakin? Yeah, that guy. Let's just bring him back and just say that he was in the suit, but no indication that he's in the suit. You know what I mean? Until like, except for like maybe the last episode, that's it. Because there's no fucking way you cannot tell me that's him in the suit in all the other episodes. That could be a stunt double or some other shit.
Yeah, but
I
you
don't
can say that about Boba Fett or
and we hated
Mandalorian.
But we hated Boba Fett, and the thing is, like, this guy had the helmet off like 90% of the time in Boba Fett. So like, you could honestly believe that. I'm not saying like Darth Vader needs to take off his helmet or anything like that, but the amount of marketing and hyping up that this guy is going to be in the Darth Vader suit, indication of him actually being in it or some sort, it's just like it's black. It's just it baffles me of like, there's no really indicating or identifying of like, yeah, that's him in the suit. Probably in the last episode where you just see like a little bit of his face, but Obi-Wan being written in this show makes no sense of him losing his powers for 10 years if you're there to protect Luke. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you want to like be prepared? Wouldn't you want to be training or anything like that? I would have accepted this show if 10 years later from episode 3, Obi-Wan still has his powers. He is still looking after Luke, making sure everything is good. Leia gets kidnapped, and then he goes, fights the Inquisitors, and then gets challenged by Darth Vader. I would have preferred that instead of him being like, oh no, I cannot use the Force. I cannot use the Force because I turned it off. because I was protecting a boy. But why did you have it off? I don't know why.
But it didn't make sense for him to be disconnected when his also like a whole nother point of him being there in solitude was to be training to communicate with Qui-Gon, which you can't
Exactly.
do without the Force. Like it doesn't make fucking
Exactly.
sense,
It
God.
makes no fucking sense at all. And the thing is, like, I was expecting maybe like a cool battle with the Inquisitors. Nothing. We don't get any of that. We get nothing of that. And then also too, there's no fucking TIE fighters in this show. There's no fucking like any signs of like the resistance or anything at all. Like maybe it was just like I would have, like I said, I would have preferred for him to still be training, and then Leia gets kidnapped and do a better writing job and get better materials of introducing these Inquisitors that they're like badasses trained by Darth Vader, and Obi-Wan has to fight them to save Leia, and that's how him and Leia got to know each other. But no, we just get like, oh yeah, we're running away. We're running away. You know what? I have to use my force. I have to use the force. I have to. I have to. And that's just like in the last episode. Like what I wanted from this show happened in the 20 minutes of the last episode, and then it went to shit from there because we get the Reva storyline and everything. And it's just clumps of unnecessary things that makes the show very bad. So you know what? I'm gonna drop it down to a red. Fuck it, you convinced me. So
And my Ham's still on that yellow card train.
Ham is on the yellow card.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to go to the dark side, so I didn't want to give it a red.
Oh my
And
god.
green is Kenobi's color.
Like I
Um,
watching this series and realizing that, after my little honeymoon phase with the last episode and seeing that cool fight and that awesome line and just being like, what, and thinking back the whole series, because I was bored, I was definitely way more excited for Miss Marvel episodes than Obi-Wan episodes with that overlap.
Yeah.
Watch Miss Marvel first, and then I'll go ahead and watch Obi-Wan when I get the chance.
well, then here's my question. After this, do you think they should keep making sort of prequels
No,
and
make
midquels for Star Wars?
no.
I'm about to bring up something. I'm actually going to get into that. The thing is, what this series made me realize is that I don't want any more Star Wars series. Like, I really don't want them to saturate this franchise with these little mini stories that they've been telling, like with Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Like, why does Mandalorian work better than these two? Because Mandalorian is a brand new
New
original
character.
character. And that was what I was trying to get at when I first started talking about it, was that it's so bad that, like, you can't fuck with what's been established. You can't fuck with people's like upbringings of these characters. Like, just because you decided to erase an entire library of books that establishes lore of these characters, you can't just say go fuck yourself, let us do our own thing, because that's a whole audience that you can be making money off of, that we would love to see these stories that we've read about or that we've thought about, dreamt about, or whatever, fan theorized or whatever, come to life. We'd rather see those than what the original stuff that you're doing, because it seems like they don't have like a Kevin Feige of the Star Wars universe to see like, okay, remember this in episode 3 or remember this in episode 5. Like, they're not connecting these things together so well, and all they're doing is literally just cash grabbing on these characters, because everyone's gonna want to watch an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Everyone's gonna watch a Boba Fett series because we know these characters. But as soon as you start throwing in a new character into them, you start fucking around with things, and now you're not sure what you're touching on. You're not sure how you're connecting to the other ones, because this Obi-Wan felt more like what Mandalorian season 2 was, kind of like a springboard for like spin-offs to happen. But again, why it works better for Mandalorian does Obi-Wan is because Mandalorian is an original new character. We don't know anything that's going to happen with this character when we know what's going to happen with Obi-Wan. We know what's going to
Yeah.
happen with Boba Fett. So it makes me realize, like, I don't want any more of these series. Andor is supposed to be the next one, I think, which is supposed to be that guy from Rogue One. We already know his fate, but I don't want to watch this based on what I've seen from Obi-Wan. I don't want to watch what's going to happen to him, because you
I
can't
already know.
you can't put him in harm, because you can't fucking kill him. We already know he's gonna die, but like still, like it just doesn't work, and they gotta stop doing this.
I
Well,
know
Skywalker.
Taiki.
well, wait for 2023 when the Yoda story comes out next year.
I saw that and I was like, no, you can't do this anymore.
Oh, that
Like,
was a joke. What are you talking about?
they actually announced a Yoda series happening.
Oh no, I was fucking around. That's a real thing.
Oh no.
So, but
Oh,
the thing is, like, I don't mind them being cameos because that's why the Luke Skywalker cameo in Mandalorian season 2 was amazing because you had a legacy character you brought back for just a moment, just to give us some intrigue as to what he's been doing in between the movies, and that's fine. Just leave it at that as a split cameo. But don't give us an entire series based off of that because you're going to fuck around with what he says later in the movies or what he's experiencing later in the movies versus now. It's just too much. It's too much for them. I don't think they're realizing how grand I think the Star Wars fan base is. And I know, like, I'm sure 49% of whoever's working on these series are like, we really love Star Wars. We love these characters. We want to show them do this and that. I get it. But you have to understand that the 51% of that company just really wants to throw people in these series to start making mass money before it completely dies out. And
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel like it's being taken good care of. And I just,
And it's not and also too it's not taken seriously as well. You know, I think with the writers for Mandalorians are was a fresh start, like you mentioned. It was a brand new character, and I think this is the story. I think just like what Episode 9 said is like this is the last Star Wars saga. This is the last. This is the last of the Luke Skywalker saga or whatever. You know, I believe that you have to go somewhere else in the Star Wars universe and introduce new characters, new stories. There's has to be other threats and other good characters that you could make up or anything like that. Like, you know, if it was able to become a huge hit, you could do the same way. You could do the same thing too. And I believe, like, I might say his name wrong, but Taiki Waititi, whatever.
yeah.
He's creating a Star Wars story that's it's a brand new characters, brand new story, and I'm actually interested in that than what we're getting of what's connected with this Skywalker saga. Because, like you mentioned, we already fucking know what happens to these characters already. You don't need to put them in any other thing except for maybe just cameos, and that's it.
all right, Mike. I got one for you. They're gonna make a new series with the new character that we saw with Rey. We're gonna see what happens after her from the movies.
Oh my god, I'm good.
I
I'm good. I mean, I'm good with that.
We can, Ham, do you remember the trench coat scene?
When she's like walking up with him and he's got the trench coat and Leia's like in
He's
between
got
them,
like
I
a
guess.
fucking Megazord attached to his leg. How do people not fucking see that?
Yeah, I like turned and I'm like,
And they pass the Inquisitors. They pass these force sensitive people, these people that are supposed to be on top of their game, the elite. They're just like, oh yeah, nothing strange here, nothing out of the ordinary. Like, what did they think? He had some sort of rare disease that has some sort of growth coming out of his leg? Like, what the fuck was that scene?
the old trench coat scene. It always works.
I'm pretty sure that Obi-Wan was on top of Leia's shoulders, and she was the one that was walking.
That would actually make sense.
The worst part is that she poked her head out. Like, are we there yet?
Yeah.
And like,
like, is this a cartoon or is this live action? Because I can't tell anymore. Like
that.
And yeah, like besides, like the slap doesn't bother me as much. I mean, there's fucking stormtroopers; they ain't worth shit. It's the whole, like, she sits down and she's basically revealing what exactly what's going down to Obi-Wan and like what she's doing, and the guys next to him are like, I feel like I should report this, but fuck, they ain't paying me enough for this, so I ain't gonna say shit.
Also, too, I was watching a lot of like different fans like roasting this series. You remember that part, the coat scene? Like the cold scene part when Reva comes out and she's like face to face with one of the ships, and the ship's like was like fucking like shooting at her. She was deflecting all that shit. I was like, wait, is that possible?
It is if you believe in the Force.
like why I also don't want to see any more series is because now you start fucking around with like how powerful is the Force versus like what are they allowed to use at certain times? Because yeah, you could say that Vader ran out of Force power to get the other second ship, but like we see him do much like worse shit. Like there's no
Yeah.
that he could have not have gotten that. Or like even if he was like facing Reva, he could have just force choked her right off then. Like there was no point in dragging out these fights. Like if the force is that powerful with him, then he's basically a god. He could have wrecked the ship when he was chasing after it in the Star Destroyer. Like that's how like I don't know, that's how they make it seem, but they don't do that. And like I don't know. Again, it's so saturated that you just I don't know what to believe anymore. And it kind of ruins my whole dream of what the force is like and how it's used and whatever. It's like now it's just a gimmick. It feels more like a gimmick now than anything else.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. Honestly, it's unfortunate of what's really going on. I think they're running out of materials and they're just making shit up now. You know,
I guess.
and I'm wondering with the other what was it a movie or series of the X-wing like dog fighting and everything like that.
That's supposed to be a movie. Yeah.
That's supposed to be a movie. I'm wondering what.
I don't know. I don't have. I'm not. I'm not going to look forward to other Star Wars projects. I'll be like, okay, sure, that's coming. We're gonna watch it, I guess. But I don't. I'm not excited for anything else
I mean,
anymore.
we have to watch it, I guess.
He's defeated. He's in the system now. He has to do it no matter what.
I am Obi-Wan still in the pit, buried in the rocks, and I'm like, he's using the Force. I'm like, fuck the Force, just bury me. I'm dead. I'm done here. Like, I don't want to get out of this.
You know what's the worst part is that this show, the writing is trying to. I don't know if they're trying to connect with the Clone Wars and the Rebels, like series, like the animated versions. I don't know if they're trying to connect it or they're trying to go like around it.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I know Boba Fett like connects with the Clone Wars and so does Mandalorian, but I don't know if this show does that.
I don't even know their consideration. I
Yeah.
haven't watched Clone Wars or Rebels to really make that judgment call. So I don't have any really legitimate
I
say.
mean, I heard somewhere that it sort of does. So
I mean, I could say this in Rebels fights Darth Maul in a quick showdown because Darth Maul figured that there was a person that Obi-Wan was protecting and Obi-Wan had to kill him to protect Luke. So like where does Maul in between that? You know what I mean? Like
well,
I
this
don't
is
know.
definitely after Clone Wars, right?
No, it's not the
Or
Clone Wars, but I'm talking about like the
Like
determination
these
of
the stories that have been established in Clone Wars. Does it still like? Do they still have those memories? Do they still recall those events? Or because them not bringing up anything in Clone Wars, like I don't know. I don't see anything as obvious as like Boba Fett versus Cad Bane. I think his character was
yeah.
yeah.
in that season. Yeah, that's like a direct. Okay, yeah, this is a character from Clone Wars. There wasn't anything like that here in Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So I don't know.
All right,
Uh,
so 3 reds because we're giving Ham's card a red.
yeah, we're changing it.
Sure.
Yeah,
We're gonna abuse it.
yellow. I had his yellow card in my trench coat so that way no one can see it. And
I would have
so
preferred butterflies if they
I
would
would
have flowed with butterflies. Like,
think that the 10-minute fight of Obi-Wan and Vader in the last episode, and then just don't see anything else.
Nah,
Don't.
I can agree with that.
I can't recommend this. No, I can't.
yeah, I can't honestly just search it up on YouTube. Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan, and the fight will come up, and they'll have like the clips and pieces of it and everything. So,
All right. Don't
yeah.
know what we're going to talk about next. I know Despicable Me comes out this weekend. Mike and I are going to end up watching it.
It's Minions.
I don't know if Ham's going to watch it or not, but we'll see what we
Banana.
talk about next week.
Yeah.
Mike, that thing.
Guys, follow us on Twitter, Twitch. Wait, do we still have Twitch? Nah,
No.
Twitter. Nah, never mind. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube on WRMAcast. And write us an email, and Ham will reply to you of all the things he loves. Drunkcop.teacher@gmail.com.
But remember, when he says he loves something, he actually hates it.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
You could predict what he likes or not.
All right. I think that's pretty much it. Any closing words, gentlemen?
Oh, thank you very much.
Really? That was your Elvis impression?
Oh, mama.
That's actually worse than the trench coat scene.
Fuck you.
Elvis has left the building.